welcome back to Momentous Jungle, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. On this week's episode, Aubrey and I are going to talk about Rebels because Aubrey listens to other podcasts and thinks Rebels are cool, so now he wants to talk about them because he doesn't have an original thought right now because he wants to listen to other podcasts and think and talk about what they talk about, I guess. That's not right, though, is it, Aubrey?
I mean, birds of a feather flock together, Todd. Come on. I just want to shout out the other awesome content creators who are also a little more competitively minded than we are, since I know that a lot of our listeners do like to be competitive sometimes and not just listen to me ramble about how cool Ahsoka is.
They do. Like I won't call them out by name, but I know that there is a listener who at first time he listened to us was like, I really didn't like you guys because we weren't competitive enough, like focused. but he listens to us all the time, and he's a very good friend, and I do dearly love him. But he was honest, and I appreciate that when he tells us that. When he told me, he was like, nope, I just didn't like you. I'm like, to each their own. And so, like, yeah, we're not for everybody, and that's okay. But you know, he came around. We grew on him like a mold or a fungus or something. But we got there.
Yes, I'm feeling. My brain is feeling a little moldy this morning. Dear listeners, this may or may not be the second time we're trying to record this episode this morning. So if my face looks a little grouchy for those of you watching on YouTube, that is why. My coffee is out. We had a great 20 minutes of conversation, and we're going to try and bring it to you again, but it's going to be different because the ADHD baby in my skull doesn't remember anything he said.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll get there. Well, so we'll get around to, talking about the other your inspiration for the topic. But I wanted, before we jumped into that, I kind of wanted to talk about like some of the ongoing events and upcoming events, because there's been some like really great events lately, and I think that they definitely deserve like shout outs. I know like Red Mando 2 had a great event out there, just like a 16-player event, just a random 16-player event out there in at his town. So like they're just for their normal July event on the 4th or on the 5th of July weekend. The same weekend we had our event, and then Ironweld was this past weekend where they had a 16-player event at their GT out there. And then, of course, Zion's Finest also this weekend had an event just getting like GT prep going, and they had 20 players for their event. So there's a lot of big events that have been happening lately, like throughout the world. Like I said, Red Mando's definitely holding it down in Australia like they always do. And then East Coast had a tournament, and then West Coast had a tournament over here in the U.S., which is fantastic that we're getting that kind of turnout in different events throughout the world.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, the other thing, and I know we've kind of already have talked about it on the episode, but on a previous episode, but we're getting a ton of new players, like a ton of Learn to Play events have been happening. I know before we started recording, you were trying to set one up, although it sounds like something else may be happening. But either way, like we had two more people you were just talking to, both just bought the core set. There was a Learn to Play event happening during our tournament last week. I mean, they had how many players did they end up having at the event at Tempe yesterday? I'm trying to remember.
10. They had 10 players at the event yesterday in Tempe, which, go figure, Matt Booker wins that event when he plays for the win against none other than Chris Sampson, like the two bullies in our small pond here and there. But yeah, so they had a really good 10-player event out there, and there's also like some great events coming up like just over the next couple of months too, with Leland from Aegis Brand Studios, who does like the really amazing battle reports for MCP and for Shatterpoint. He's going to be the TO for the Garden City Open, and they have 12 players signed up for that. Evergreen Open's got 19 players signed up. That's over at the Dragonflight Con up in Washington, and Omnis is going to be the one of the TOs for that. Of course, Nova's coming up, and that has multiple events going on. And Matt from Rogue Support, he's going to be the TO for that. And then, of course, I'm running the GT here locally at Smite Club Open with you. which is going to be in September. And then in October, there's just a plethora of events, both LVO, which will be running as well, and Force Convergence, which the guys from Coordinated Fire, they're going to be running that one up in Canada the same weekend. So if you're on that side of the country and can't make it out to LVO, maybe you can make it up there. They have 13 players signed up for that event right now. And then, of course, the Zion's Finest at the middle of October, they have their GT as well, that one's already capped at 48 players. So I think that's going to be a fantastic event. That's, I think, going to be the premier event of like the summer to fall. I think that might outdo LVO this year. It'll be close, but I think it's going to be just about the same. You're going to probably have about 40 to 50 players for both of those events, which is going to be fantastic. For like October is just going to be a crazy month for this for all of us here that play Shatterpoint in the States.
Yeah. I expect LVO to grow next year. I get why they didn't want like too large of a gap between events, so they pushed it up instead of moving it back. But I suspect LVO is going to be a lot bigger, just between all of the new players, and then everybody's like, okay, now we know LVO is in October.
Yeah,
we can schedule some of these events to be a little more spread out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't talked with Kenny or anything like that. I would assume that they would probably try and move to have it where there's not as much crossover, or at least like maybe a month or two in between type of a thing. So I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll see what happens when we go into 2026 and see how that rolls. But I think, I mean, either way, I still think there's going to be a great turnout for LVO. I believe I haven't talked with Frontline in about 3 weeks or so, but I mean, I think we're still at about 30 to 40 players. So I think it's still going to be a great turnout for that event as well.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean, basically, like, I know we normally jump in and like kind of talk about what we've been up to, and everything along those lines. And we did talk about it, and then we lost the recording. So I guess we can talk about it again. What have you been up to lately, Aubrey? With Shatterpoint and stuff?
Well, yeah, because this was definitely a recovery week for me, because we did so much with the league leading up to the league, and then we had the big league event, and now the big boss is out of town, so I'm in charge of the whole building for the next couple of weeks, and it's just a lot to keep track of. So like, I was gonna do some hobbying last night, like do some painting. I had talked to Talia, because we usually have a date night on Saturdays, and I was like, hey, are you feeling something creative? I'm kind of feeling creative. But then when I got home, I had spent like half the day on the desk. Then I had and mind you, most of the time I was almost solo on the desk, because we have a bunch of tech issues. So I was just out with the public for like 4 hours straight. Then went into Pokemon Club, which that was fun, right? Yeah.
I brought my 8-year-old, and she played her first game of Pokemon and evolved her Pikachu to Raichu and beat up on that poor little boy that she was learning to play the game with. He was a little devastated by the hurt that she put on him with that Raichu, which was, but that's little kids, and their ways of dealing with emotions when they lose games is always funny. So yeah, it was a good time though.
Yeah. I think we might have traumatized both of them, because I have to say, it was very nice to have a parent there who knew how to play card games, because it took some of the load off of me. But the other dad, oh boy, when I told him to take a moment of silence for his wallet, he got real nervous. He's like, "Wait, what do you mean? Like what? Like this isn't that expensive, right?" And I was like, "Oh, dear sweet summer child, good luck."
It's not expensive to start, but then all of a sudden he's going to want that nice shiny EX, GX, VX, whatever they call them now, Pokemons that are like
VMAX Star Ultra Instinct Ego Dinosaur Monster. I don't know.
Right? I don't know. Like, there's so many different titles now, but it's like with all the different special foilings, and oh god, it gets crazy. It's like I sometimes on my feed I'll get like things where Lemon's like, oh yeah, that's a $1,000 card. I'm like, it's just a Pokemon card that's going to be useless in like 2 years when it rotates out of standard. It's like, I have cards that like I look at them, it's like, I remember when this was a $100 card. It's like $2. It's like
yeah. I keep trying to explain this, because everybody's like, man, you're really busy with this hobby of yours. And I was like, well, really, I started like 3 hobbies: 3D printing, tabletop wargaming, and a podcast. Like it's like 3 hobbies. It just looks like one hobby. Uh, but they're also like, well, how can you afford all of that? And I'm like, oh, like one modern deck still almost pays for like everything in Shatterpoint you could buy. Like it's like card games have gotten insane. This is
Yeah.
this is cheaper. This is my cheap like getting older and I gotta pay my mortgage hobby. Like I'm staying over at Shatterpoint because my Shatterpoint models cost about what is it, like 50-ish bucks for the average box, maybe, like, and
Yeah.
that's it. They don't go up in price when some nerd breaks the format wide open and Cassian's clearly the best thing to do. And so now you go to the store and a Cassian box is $500 to play. And you're like, what?
Can you imagine
what am I
if
doing
if the
with my life?
prices changed? Can you imagine that? Like if like at Iden's peak, if like all of a sudden it was just like, oh, Iden's the thing to do. Well, now you're going to have to pay $450 for Iden. Sorry, she's just gotten that good that you're going to have to pay that much to buy the box. So yeah, no, I am.
Remember when everybody was mad about the price of the dual box for Vader 1 and Obi-Wan? And I'm like,
Right.
my guys, I've played more for a single copy of a Magic card, like one Magic card. I have spent more money than that whole box, and you got like terrain and 2 minis and like the really good models, and I'm like, one Magic card,
Right.
like not even a deck, like
Right.
one.
Yeah, you still need 59 more cards to play a game with that, or if you're playing Commander 99. So yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
much
so-
it is.
So bottom line, I did not end up doing very much with Shatterpoint. Instead, I was kind of getting caught up on like podcasting and stuff around the house, things like that. And so my one shout out is, and I know I keep saying I'm going to listen to all the new podcasts that are out there, but I'm still behind. I did at least listen to Coordinated Fire's latest episode, which was really good. You should check it out, everyone. Dear listeners, go listen, because it's about the theme is ways to make what you're doing at a tournament more efficient so that you can get the game going, keep the game going. We all dislike the end of game parameters and how the game gets to you don't like it when you win, you don't like it when you lose. Nobody likes how the game ends, even when it's in your favor, if it goes to time. So they give you a bunch of tips and tricks on how to avoid that. But what got me going is like, so Sci-Fi was talking about some cool bounty hunter lists, and then Coordinated Fire guys were talking about a Cassian core set Ahsoka combo where you essentially turn Ahsoka Jedi No More into a missile, launch her across the table to always be in range with her revenge attack, and I was like, oh, I didn't think about that kind of a pairing. That's really interesting. And then I was like, and I kind of folded this into a, like, I was thinking about Republic and how I struggle so much because so much of Republic's gameplay is remember your coordinated fire triggers. Remember when you use Obi-Wan's hunkers. Remember how to use Obi-Wan's hunkers. Remember where the mace bubble is. Is the mace bubble on? Is it off? Did your opponent turn it off? Did you turn it off? What's happening? Oh, look, coordinated fire. You know what I'd like to do, Todd? Have one trigger, and it's, did you hurt my friends? I'm punching you in the face. Done.
The Aubrey did I hurt my friends list. Got it. That's good. That's what we'll call this list here. So like if you haven't gathered from this rant of Aubrey's or rabbit hole that Aubrey decided to go down, what he wants to talk about today, what he wants to talk about today is building a Rebels revenge-ish list, or don't touch my friends like that. I don't like it. I don't know how we're going to call it that, or whatever we're going to call it.
I don't think we're calling it that one, Todd. We're not calling it that.
Don't touch my friends like that. You don't want to call it that? Fine. Okay. But we're going to go ahead and make Aubrey a list and go from there. So I guess to start, and that's what our main topic for today is going to be. Oh, go ahead.
But wait. No, what did you we didn't go back.
Oh,
what have you done with Shatterpoint? Yeah, no,
I
hang
have
on.
not
I
done
know I
much.
kind of segued us a little too early. It's all right. Let's
Way
back
too
up. Back
good.
up.
Yeah, it was too good of a segue. I couldn't let it go. No, I mean, for me, as far as what I've been doing, just getting a lot of hobby stuff done, doing some painting. As you can see, I still have behind me the Leia box, so I'm finishing up Leia right now, trimming to the last. And then I have primed and getting the base gray down on the Skywalker Luke, or Skywalker, not Skywalker, the Stormtrooper Luke from that set.
The Skywalker Luke.
Well, he is the Skywalker Luke still. He's just the Stormtrooper Skywalker Luke. Yes, but I'm working on that. I like getting kind of just getting the base paints down on him for right now, and then like I said, kind of finishing up Leia. I think she's about where I want her. Maybe just some more highlights to do on her, and she'll be done. But yeah, that's all I've really been doing. Like my the family went out of town and on a boat, so I've been up since 3:00 this morning. They're going to go on a houseboat for a couple of days. Well, I get to stay home and work because my wife likes to take multiple vacations while the kids are home for summer break and stuff like that. So sometimes she'll just go off on her own with them and for like a week and have fun and do stuff like that and I get to stay home and work at my wonderful menial job. And that's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm not bitter at all, Aubrey. Not one bit. I'm not bitter.
You
No.
you don't sound bitter at all.
Not one bit. No, she gets to
Definitely-
go play on
definitely not.
a lake boat, on a boat, a houseboat on Lake Powell, and,
boat.
and have fun. A boat, like on a boat. But yeah, and like she's gonna do some paddle boarding around Lake Powell, and the houseboat has a slide on it that the kids are gonna love. But so it sounds like they're gonna have a good time, and I'll be at work.
Aw. You mean you got left alone without the kids all by your
Yeah,
onesie?
so I'll probably get some painting done. It's like I can get painting done without my daughter coming up and going, Dad, what's this? Dad, I want a snack. Dad, I want this. Dad, I want that. So.
I'm going to paint you, Dad.
Right. Which she did. She actually, like, after we recorded with with Accuser, because it's like I recorded on a time that I didn't. She's like, "Can I put makeup on you?" So yeah, Daddy got a makeover. I had glittery eyeshadow and glittery cheeks, pink glittery cheeks. It was a fantastic. So yep, the joys of being a father.
Fancy.
I was fancy. I was very fancy. But yeah, let's jump into your list that you wanted to build on. So for starters, the first thing I kind of want to ask though is, are you looking at doing like a Rebels list where like you can like an anchor, like a 2x2, or is it more like you can just mix and match as you feel?
Yeah, so to start, I do want to try and make like full premiere list, so all Rebels. And I mean, of course, like in theory, this could include like Ewoks or Han and Chewie, or like Lando obviously would be a rebel, like in this Agent Callus, like any of the variable stuff. I'm not trying to be like must have the Rebel Alliance tag on the card beforehand, but my idea is this is what I'm thinking, is that Cassian, I feel, lends himself, and I know there's a lot of directions you can go this way. This is just my opinion, but I feel like Cassian is really good at being an aggressive list. Like, yes, it's a revenge list, and yes, there's control elements, but you can do so much plink damage with his blow up the town ability, and then like he just does a really good job of consistently dishing out damage with it, like the Shatterpoint ability he has. And so I'm thinking one list would be a more aggressive version of a revenge list, and then I was talking to Samson about his list that he played at the event last week, and he was kind of explaining how like he uses specters as sort of like a Swiss Army knife kind of list, where it's not really the best at everything, but it has diceless displacement, it has mobility, it has the revenge component, it can deal out damage. And so like that would be more of your like, so what I'm thinking is like have a more controlling list, kind of Swiss Army. You have tools, and then this one where I'm like, okay, we're gonna deal damage, and we're gonna deal more damage, and when you hurt me, guess what we're gonna do? Deal more damage.
So you're looking more like a 2x2.
Yeah. So,
okay.
I mean, I do like the idea of, and like, this is the advantage. Like, I've wanted to play a premiere list that's all one faction, but until recently, Republic wasn't really a great option. And Empire was the best thing to be doing, and I'm not really an Empire stan. Like, even if I play Empire, it would be like I would want to play Empire like with a Rebel list or with a Republic list. Like, I'm not enough of a fanboy to be like, let's do all Empire, cue the Imperial March, let's go.
So you're
I'm
saying
an
you're not
edgelord.
Sarah Kroll. You don't want to be like Sarah Kroll. I see. You don't. You can't rise to that standard of player. I get it. Sarah Kroll's just that much better.
Well, I mean, that's true, but that's not what I was saying, Todd. Anyway, so now I finally realized, as I was kind of talking about Samson's list and looking with how like my Cassian PLC list went, I was like, wait a minute, I could do Rebels now. We have enough characters that aren't named Luke, Han, Chewie, Lando, R2D2 to actually put together 4 complete and not embarrassing lists, because it's been so hard. What's the best thing to take with Luke? Luke. What's the best thing to take with Han? Han. What's the best thing to take with Lando? Lando. And you're like, stop it.
Yeah, it's pretty rough right now.
Give me another Rebel character. And I know we got Jyn Erso coming down the line, and that's going to open up all the lists. But I want to do it now, Todd, because I'm impatient.
No, shocking. ADHD Aubrey is a little impatient. Shocking. I would have thought that.
Yeah. So,
all right.
So here's that's the premise. So I'm thinking Cassian PLC as one list, and then Kanan, and, well, there's a few ways we could go with Kanan. I have an opinion on what I like, and it's mostly just copying Chris, but we do have some options. We have some options there. There's a few ways we could go with that one. So I'm kind of leaving the last one up because we could collaborate on this. Because the other thing I like about playing a full premiere list of one faction is, even if you're planning on doing a 2x2, you can often construct the list so that list chicken kind of becomes awkward for your opponent. Like, for example, if we manage to put all of the Spectre secondaries into the list somewhere, well, now they're going to be looking at it and going, okay, wait a minute, who's going with Kanan? So even though I might have a game plan of Cassian and PLC are always going to be together, and Kanan and X are always going to be together, I like my opponent having the mental gymnastics of, whoa, wait a minute, what's happening here? Are they really together? Because you could,
but if they listen to this
Cassian
podcast, they're not
Kanan.
going to know. But if they listen to the podcast, they're going to be like, oh, I know what Aubrey's trying to do.
Well, yeah, but that's just because I'm sharing. And also, not everyone remembers things all the time, Todd. They're not going to remember I talked about this. Come on.
People have a better memory than you and I. I mean, let's be honest. We might have the memory of like a squirrel, but some people don't. But okay, so you're looking at Rebels. You're not sure where you want to go. Currently, there's 5 more primaries that can kind of fit that mold. You have Ahsoka Fulcrum, you have General Solo, you have Hera, you have Jedi Luke, and you have Lando. Which one of those is kind of like jumping out at you as far as like your 5th or the 4th option for you?
All right. So, I mean, we could do Hera, but then you're kind of locked into like, all right, that's gonna be Spectres, because Hera really wants to be with Spectres. Okay. So, and I kind of don't like that idea just for the sake of what I'm trying to accomplish. So mostly this is just a shout out that yes, I know Hera exists, but I'm trying to do something slightly off the wall here. So setting aside that. So then the 2 or 3 that I was thinking about was either like, I know, 2 or 3, was either Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum, because Chris just did really well with her and proved that she does work with Kanan, and that was an early pairing that I really wanted to try, but I kind of fell away from it because I think Fulcrum needs a lot of because she was already kind of a discount Anakin. And now she's even more of a discount Anakin now that Anakin's been pushed up. But I feel like there's something to be said for like the extra force she brings, and she makes the list a little more punchy. So like that's the first thought. If
Mhm.
if you alternatively wanted more, more revenge, you could look at General Solo. Now I know he is kind of hard to get into place, but then you just make sure to pair him with something like Sabine, or a character that can reliably move him up the board. Even Kanan. I mean, Kanan doesn't get his double dash if you do that, but in a pinch, you can use Kanan to move Han where you need to. So like that's another option. And then last but not least, if we wanted to get extra tricksy, you could go more scoundrelly with Lando, and then maybe you're doing something with like Agent Callus and like getting extra re-rolls. But I don't know if that has enough force. And I'll be honest, I've played with Han, I've played with Ahsoka, I've never played with Lando, so that's like a distant three. But I don't know. What do you think after going through all that?
I do like the idea of Fulcrum. I mean, she has a little bit of potential force refresh when she can hit somebody. So like basically, you could use her ability to make your second attack and then refresh a force, and then make it. It's like she can make multiple attacks. As I guess the thing that I'm looking at is like she's really good at like just being able to do like, so 'cause then I will avenge his death, like gives you a second attack. Oh, and then by the way, if you do end up wounding somebody, she gets like a force back. So like you basically are doing that for one force, as long as you have the two on the front end. So, and then she can also jump and just make another 5 dice attack. I mean, you can eventually like potentially make 3 attacks with her. So if you're going with like a really punchy like aggro list, yeah, she's great. I mean, but that's almost like, do you want to pair her with Cassian if you wanted Cassian to be the aggro list though too? So it's and so it kind of opens it up to where you can kind of mix and match a little bit if you went that route. So that's kind
Yeah.
of where I was
See.
leaning.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Now again, everyone, these are my thoughts just after talking to Chris. Don't take anything I'm saying as like endorsed by Chris for the record. Like, go ask him. Go ask him for his opinion. I'm just like I had a conversation with him, and now we're talking about these lists. So, anyway, so I like Kanan. Like I'm thinking Kanan Ahsoka, but with the option to make the Ahsoka list kind of usable in either one, and then. I mean, that leaves us with I really want Cassian with PLC most of the time, though. I mean, you do have the coolness of Cassian can move Ahsoka, because I do feel like unless you burn a ton of force on her turn, which you don't really want to do with Rebels, like she can still be weirdly not not mobile in the sense that yes, if you want to spend all your force on her turn, yes, you can get her wherever you want, but you don't always want to do that, so you have to be careful.
Yes. I mean, and that goes without saying with like a lot of the primaries in this game in general is like there's some primaries where it's like you can spend 4 to 6 force and do all the cool stuff, or like with certain units, like you could just spend all the force. Like Anakin, you can spend a lot of force with him. You don't always want to do that, or you want to have ways to be able to sit there and either refresh force or discount your force or something along those lines. So, like I said, that's kind of why I like Ahsoka, because she does have a little bit of force refresh in there, and I think that'd be kind of nice to have.
Yeah, yeah, and I absolutely agree. So then this kind of comes down to, all right. So we've got our primary set here. That's easy. The secondaries are where it gets weird. I know if we're bringing Kanan, we're bringing Ezra. So okay, done. I got that. And Sabine is really good, but Sabine could go into a couple of places. I like, because if we bring Callus too, which I don't know if that's correct. This is just me going through the parameters. But if we bring Callus, Sabine can go anywhere. If we don't bring Callus, then we want to kind of make sure Sabine is paired probably with the Ahsoka list, just to keep it with the Spectres, because the idea is to keep them with the Spectres. So I guess the question is, what do you think? Are we bringing Callus somewhere, yay or nay?
Well, let's look at like the tags that you can have with him. So you're looking at Spectre, Scoundrel, Rebel Alliance. And his rerolls are based off of the amount of tags that he shares. So that's one of the things, I guess, like most of them are probably going to have Rebel and Scoundrel, or they're going to have the Spectre, because you do have some Spectres in there. Because is Fulcrum she a Spectre? She's not. She's just Rebel
No.
Alliance. So she's just Rebel Alliance. Leia, I think, as far as sharing, is just Rebel Alliance, because he does the spy is the tag comes with the Empire side. So she's only gonna have one there. He has two with Cassian, with the Rebel and the Scoundrel. So yeah, I think you could do that. I mean, definitely, like, especially like you can, if you were to put him say under Cassian, you're getting two rerolls there, and it can make it look like you're going to be playing him with Kanan, for doing some, if you're wanting to sit there and do some turn zero, gymnastics, for like mental gymnastics for your opponent, trying to figure out who you're going to play with who. Because even though you're wanting to
Yeah.
play him with Leia.
Yeah, because I'll be honest, I haven't played with K2SO or the Pathfinders yet, but I assume that at least Pathfinders end up in this list somewhere just because we need them. Uh,
Yep.
and so, like, again, my point is I don't have an opinion on K2SO one way or the other because I just haven't played with him yet. He does seem like he's a little bit more controlling, but he does also have like a mini revenge effect. So again, just saying we might go with him, we might not. But then if you go with K2SO, you're then kind of locked into, well, all right, I guess we're just bringing the Cassian box or bringing the Leia box, and yay, the episode's over, we're done because we just built the list really fast. So
Yeah.
trying to explore all the options.
I mean, I like the idea of maybe putting Callus under Cassian. Then you could end up potentially putting, say, um, Han and Chewie under Cassian as well, to fill your nine, and that leaves like a lot of options then for Leia to kind of explore as well. So I don't know. I mean, that's kind of where, I mean, I'm looking at all of the other ones, because again, you're really kind of wanting to keep that Rebel tag for a lot of the stuff. I'm assuming that's what you're wanting. So like Rebel tag wise, I mean, you could go with well, yeah, I mean, like, the thing is that then if you go with Han and Chewie there, then you can't use the Chewie secondary. It's like if you're going to put Han and Chewie as the support underneath them. So that's where you start getting into a lot of those gymnastics of what supports do you use, which ones don't you use, type of a thing.
Yeah, no, I think we got something cooking here. So let's say we put I kind of like the Agent Cal, like what is it? Cassian, Agent Callus, and Han and Chewie, because then you have a reroll on Scoundrel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even and if you make a Rebel Alliance, which does happen some of the time to use the effects,
Mm-hmm.
you get there. But also, I also feel like we get very fixated on Callus's reroll and using it a lot and using it all the time. And I know the Cassian list has a lot of force refresh at it, and yes, you probably will use it a little bit more. But I just like the fact that most of Callus's turns are I'm gonna hit something really hard. I'm gonna do the impact sharpshooter dash toward an enemy and hit them for all they're worth. And a lot of times his turn, you don't even end up spending hardly any force. You don't do the rerolls all the time. Like I think he kind of fits the idea of it being a more aggressive list, and the reroll is just kind of a bonus as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to something you're trying to do all the time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, just having that as an option when you need it, not necessarily having to use it all the time, but having it as an option to where, okay, I really need to get three down the tree so I can do this. Let me spend it on to do the reroll so I can sit there and get this effect that I need that's on the third step down my tree, knowing that I definitely have two successes that are going to go down the tree, and reroll those two dice and see what happens, type of a thing. So I like it. I like, but with everything, I think in this game, I really think you have to be cognizant of what you like when you're using abilities and everything like that. I mean, it's a very thinking game. That I think sometimes we lose track of that. I mean, I know I do sometimes where I just get laser focused on stuff and forget like a step or something like that. And some like so that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, maybe it's not an all the time ability, but definitely nice to have in your back pocket when needed.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing is we still are short. We're still short a secondary. Oh my word. Todd, if we take Callus uh and then try to put somebody under Leia, they're all the wrong name.
Yeah, because
I
let's see.
think
So
we
if
have
you
to I think we have to take K2SO is the thing, unless you start going into Ewok C3PO R2D2 territory, and now we're like playing a whole different list. Like, oh,
fair enough.
unless you bring R2, that is you could bring R2 and Lando as one of the supports, and then I think that gives us K2SO. They are spies.
Yep.
That's interesting.
You could potentially go say K2SO under Leia with Lando R2 if you wanted to go that direction. And go that. I mean, but at that point in time, you could just I don't know. I mean that's a way to go about doing that list. You don't with Lando and R2 again. You're only going to have for reroll purposes. You know, well you have Scoundrels and Rebel Alliance, so you're going to get two rerolls there. Out of Callus. Same with I think K2SO. No, he's just Rebel Alliance. You would only get one reroll. So I mean, you are kind of getting some decent rerolls there. If you're
Yeah,
concerned about that.
that does free up Rebel Pathfinders, like, so because you either could play Rebel Pathfinders because they are spies, and so they have the spy synergy, and so I was planning on putting them here, but you could put Rebel Pathfinders with Kanan or the Ahsoka list, and then you could run Han and Chewie, Lando, and R2. I don't know if this list. I don't know how competitive that list is, though. Like, am I just contorting myself to avoid the fact that the Cassian box and the Leia box just are a match made in heaven, and we should just play them as is?
Potentially. I'm playing around with some stuff though. Let's see. It's man, it would be it's going to be so much easier to do this once you get the Jyn Erso box out, because that's really what I think is going to happen. You know, the other option is you play like you play a point down with Leia, and you put Luke under her. You know, and then like because there's not another 5. Is the other option basically like you play a point down, you put her there with like the Pathfinders, like Luke and the Pathfinders under her, and you play a point down. Like it's probably like the only other option I think, if like unless you if we're going like we're trying to avoid playing the box and we're really wanting to have Callus there.
All right. So I'm gonna put an addendum. I vote we play a point down because I really am just theory crafting here and doing it live with all of you instead of just doing it inside my own head and or screaming into the void. So we'll play a point down. We'll bring Luke along and we'll do this goofiness. Although I do feel like there is a world where maybe instead, because basically we kind of have this default Kanan list, right? And I love the little murder bot, but sometimes I feel like you really do get punished by playing a support down in specters, but then you need a certain number of specters for the list to do what it does, and so it's Kanan, Ezra, Chopper pretty much always, and then like rebel commandos are usually on the opposite side of the table with whatever your other unit is, and then so like it'd be Ahsoka, Sabine, rebel commandos. Like that's kind of a pretty default. Like I don't feel like I'm breaking the bank. Usually that's pretty much the list, and then insert primary of your choice, be it Hera or PLC or a Fulcrum. Like I hate to say it's kind of boring, but you could put Rebel Pathfinders over there if we did this other list, but then I feel like you're maybe diluting your tags a little too much. But it would confuse your opponent, which was my sub goal.
That is very true. That is very true. The only other thing, because it's like, I really think like, yeah, you like the Han. Well, let's see. I don't know. Part of me thinks that maybe the K2SO and R2 with or no, you can't. Yeah, you can with the R2 and Lando, the Bar 2 under Leia might be kind of cool to do as well. Simply, you're not playing a point down that way. You're then on both sides of your two lists, you have somebody that just can't be shot, like because they do the same thing as Chopper. As long as they're in your
Right.
order deck. So I don't know, man. I think like that's kind of like a cool thing. It's like you always have someone who can just sit there on a back point and not not have a pop shot to be taken at them until you want them to sit there and be more involved in the game type of a thing. I don't know. What do
Yeah,
you think?
no, wait, so then are we really leaving Pathfinders at home? I mean, I don't know. That could be it could hey, it's worth a try. It's worth a try. I'm having fun. I'm just kind of theory crafting, and I'm sure we're gonna get y'all down in the comments or in the Discord going, Aubrey, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Join me on this journey.
Right, right, exactly. I mean, and it's so yeah, it's. I mean, you could like shout out to Jared here. You could put Lobot under Cassian.
I'm not ready for that. Besides, you can't leave Lando like, but you need
No,
Lobot.
no, because what I'm saying is just for him, you could go Cassian Lobot Pathfinders.
Does that? I don't even
No,
remember what Lobot does. Hang on, dude. All I know is he has that lockdown thing that
you're
everybody
getting
should
rid
be
of
annoyed at.
you're getting rid of Callus at that point in time. If you go that route, I mean, the biggest thing that he's doing is like handing out focuses
Let's
is
see.
really what he does.
Oh right, he has the like he can dash scoundrels and then do
Hmm.
the. Oh, okay, yeah. All right.
He's
Well,
helping to move people around.
I
He
mean
gives out focuses like crazy.
that's definitely an option. I don't know how I feel about that as an option. Sorry, Jerry, love you.
I was just
I
trying to give
don't even.
Jared some love, man. I was just trying to give him some
I
love, but like I said, but that was a way to
I feel
bring that
bad.
was,
I don't own the Lando box. That's how bad. That's how bad it is.
No, I get it. I get it. Like I said, it was more along the lines of like just throwing other ideas out there because, I can see Jared listening to this and going, what about Lobot? Because he just loves Lobot. So that was kind of just, in
Right.
case you wanted to find a way to put your Pathfinders out there. I don't want to leave Han and Chewie behind. I really think that Callus and Han and Chewie is probably your best bet with what you're doing with Leia. So I don't know though. I mean,
Yeah, I think so too. But I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of digging this K2SO bar 2 like it's pretty good. Of course, I can hear Qui-Gon Jinn rolling in his not grave because he's still alive, because I still haven't tried out that like Rebel Ewok Leia Luke list that I talked about on his episode. I never because we got the balance update and I've been playing Republic. So love you, buddy. I'll eventually get back to that after I'm done with all this other Rebel stuff I'm doing. I promise eventually at some point.
I don't believe you.
I I will try. I will do my best.
I'm sure you. Yeah, I mean that you're doing it in spirit. You're definitely thinking about doing that. But yeah, I mean, so do you think that's kind of where you're landing with that? Is like the K2SO and the Bar two Lando?
I mean, I think it's worth. I think it's worth looking at. I think I like. Do I think this is necessarily the most competitive thing? Well, no. The most competitive The most competitive thing to do would be to wait for the Jin Urso box to be released and then use that to solve all of our problems. Or alternatively, Cassian box, Leia box, Spectres, go have fun.
Yeah,
But, you
yeah.
know.
Do you think that you would want to change anything with the Spectre list that you have? I mean, it is kind of just the de facto. This is what you do with Spectres. I mean, they're pretty kind of solved at this point in time as far as what to do.
Yeah, no, I really think like the only thing I could argue is that if we were going a more like less focus on aggression and trying to spread out the sort of Swiss Army knife, I could see an argument for commandos coming over to like the Cassian PLC list to just like it would. I mean, it would require us to reconfigure the list. I'm just saying, I could see a world where if we had Pathfinders in here, like maybe you rearrange things to look a little different. But that's I I really think that specters are more or less solved as is. Like this is basically the de facto list with insert primary of your choice. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, what do you think?
No, I mean, I think it's still like it is pretty much exactly what you're gonna do. I mean, there's not much. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of innovation to be done with specters at this point in time. Like, and we're not getting any other specters like that. That it came in two boxes. That's what you're getting. I mean, and then the Callus getting the ability to also have that tag was kind of just an added bonus, which was really cool. But yeah, no, like there's not any innovation unless you're going to go away from specters, and you really just don't want to. If you're going to have Kane in there, you just want to have the specter tag. So I don't think there's, like I said, I don't think there's any innovation there. If you were to go away and just not have the specters, though, is there something different you would do? Is there like what primaries would you run instead if you were to just remove the specter
Oh,
list?
well, I mean, obviously it would be the Luke Leia furries are friends, not food list. I mean that's
But then you have to get
the
rid of
teddy
Charming
bears.
Leia.
Oh dang it! No, why do we have three Leias? God, never mind. Then it would be I don't know. Why do we have so many of the same named characters? Please, I need more rebels that aren't the same three
See,
characters.
what you would have to do is just go true Ewoks and just go all Ewoks and just make it that.
You know what? You know what, Don? Because I'm not considering this any deeper. It would just be Chirpa Logray all the way down. Ichiwawa Yub Yub.
Exactly. There you go. Well, that was. I mean,
Care Bear stare for life.
exactly. That's what it should be. But no, I mean, and that's the thing. I think with Rebels right now is like it's your de facto is like some variation of the specters, and then take the rest of the rebels and kind of mush them together to whatever fits best type of a thing. I don't think they're like if you're going to play all rebels for a premiere list. I think that's like kind of the only way to go at this point in time. Which nothing wrong with that. Like Kanan Spector's list is still good. Revenge is still good, and Cassian and PLC still good. Like there's there's nothing there's nothing wrong there. I mean, and all of these are solid. I mean, like I said, the K2SO bar 2, that's kind of like something a little different, but than I think you would normally see. So I like that the mix under like Cassian and Leia. I think that's kind of fun. I don't know. What are your final thoughts on that?
I mean, balance update? What balance update? These cards are all good already. Well,
Yeah,
most of them.
no, they are pretty good. I mean, like again, I don't think we need. I think the balance update fixed a lot of the problems they had in the beginning of the game. I don't think there's a lot of stuff now where it's like, okay, we really need to fix this or we really need to fix that. Like I mean, save for the separatists. I think that they probably need a little bit of love to sit there and get them. We'll see what Rift Tanzan and the Terror from Below box looks like, because hopefully that will sit there and do something fun and exciting. But we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. You got any final thoughts on our rebel shenanigans here?
No, no, I don't. Not that I like that. I like the Leia and Cassian list. It's a little bit different from what I think has been the standard to play, and I think it would be kind of fun. I mean, I like Han and Chewie. I think one of those other podcasts out there like had a hot take that they're pretty good. Rogue support, like it was a pretty hot take. I mean, I don't think anyone's ever said that before. That like Han and Chewie are probably like the best thing to do. So they were the best, like one of the best supports in the game. So I mean, that was like original hot take from them.
I know. I never heard anyone say it.
Nope.
Definitely not multiple times. Definitely not each. Host of the same podcast. Definitely none of those things.
Never.
No idea what you're talking
Never
about.
heard
Todd.
it before. Exactly. We love those guys. But no, overall, I think it's fun. I think it's definitely worth putting out there and giving it a run for your money and see what comes up.
Hey, I gotta give the Rebel fanboys something to do between now and what is the date now? August? Is August when Jin's coming out?
I think so. It feels like everything
Yeah,
kind of got
so
moved up. Like that was one of the things I know they had announced like all the boxes are going to be coming out like August. I don't think we have anything in September. So like if that's the case, I don't think we're seeing anything until like 2026 like coming out, which is kind of nice because it's like gives you a chance to sit there and like get everything painted because like there's if you're like me and procrastinate on your painting and stuff like that, there's definitely some you got time to catch up and maybe have some fun events and everything like that, which will the nice thing is I think like when we start getting towards these end of the year events like a September October conventions and everything like that, you're gonna be you should be at least kind of practice with whatever you're planning on playing. So I think it'll have some good clean games that you'll be able to sit there and play in some of those larger scale conventions for sure.
yeah, you all are infecting me. Every time I put an unpainted model on the table now, I'm like, "Aw, this would look better if it had paint on it and not just white primer on my stormtroopers," which is how my stormtroopers have basically been forever because I barely play Empire.
Yeah, like I said, I mean it's one of those where it's just kind of the way that I grew up playing games type of thing where it's like you just gotta like again I blame Rich for that, our local buddy that I used to play a 40K with.
Yeah.
Like you would lose your points if you didn't play a fully painted army. So just got like used to that. So no, I think we're good though. I mean, like I said, kind of a quick episode here and everything along those lines. But I definitely, before we get out of here, want to thank all of our listeners. You guys are amazing. I always appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to support the channel, you can always do so by becoming a patron. Our patrons are amazing. We think each and every one of you. I'm probably going to be getting that Accuser episode out to the patrons. And I'm thinking maybe after it's been out for the patrons for a while, we might just release it to the general public just because it's a pretty fun episode and it'll be funny to sit there and get like everyone's input on it. So we'll definitely take a look at that, but definitely want to thank all the patrons for everything you do. You definitely help us with all the little things that we need to like, keep the show running and everything like that, and doing a lot of the stuff that we do, like streaming when we go to Adepticon, streaming when we go to LVO, because we'll be streaming at LVO again this year as well. So as always, thank you guys. But if you don't want to support us that way or you're not able to, you can definitely support us by rating, reviewing the podcast on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, you can definitely just subscribe, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, let us know what you think. It definitely helps out every time. It makes that algorithm go woo. So definitely appreciate that. But other than that, as always, thanks again, and long live the Empire, Aubrey.
May the force be with you.